Hey everyone, I'm just signing in 1 quick minute early because I wanted to just do something a little bit different. I wanted to just take a minute because today is the 9/11 remembrance, and I just turned on some lights here that I should have turned on. It's also a good time to remember all the people out west who are fearful for losing everything from the fires. COVID, just everything that's gone on. And so while we wait for our start time to start, I'm just going to just do a minute of silence. Okay, so I don't know how long that was because I didn't put a timer on. I'm sure it wasn't a whole minute, but the idea is we are thinking of you, we're praying for you, we remember, and yeah, we're just bringing you before the Lord. I know it's a scary time for a lot of people, so I just wanted to take a minute and acknowledge that before we get going. Okay, so today we are making all kinds of things. We're going to make some pita bread, we hope. I've never done it before, so we're going to do it together. We're going to make some hummus, which is going to be the base layer of our Mediterranean layer dip, and we're going to make some banana cream pie. So I'm going to start with, I already have a batch of dough ready to go. Hi, Aunt Sis. But I wanted to show you a little bit the process, so I'm just going to turn you around, and we're going to be in a different part of my kitchen today because I feel like we kind of need to be. So I'm going to turn you. Okay, so if you can see, you can't really see. Let's see, let's do this. Okay, so what I have in here is water, honey, and yeast. And so it's really, really important to make sure your yeast is active. So you put water, you don't want it too hot, you don't want it cold. It needs to be around 110 to 115 degrees because if it's too cold, it won't do anything. If it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that, and you want to see this. This has been going about 15 minutes. I started a few minutes earlier. But this is what you want to see. You want to see it puff up and kind of get foamy, and that's going to tell you that your yeast is alive and kicking. So we're going to attach our dough hook. You can do this by hand, by the way, and just do all the kneading by hand, but I have a mixer, so may as well use it. All right, so I'm going to just turn you around for a second. So I have in here, I have 2 1/4 cups of sprouted spelt flour because I try to use sprouted flour. It's just better on digestion. And a teaspoon of salt. Might be a 1/4 teaspoon. I can't remember. So I will post the recipe and you'll be able to tell. So I'm just going to turn this on. And I'm going to add my flour in. And I'm going to show you what's happening here in just a second. Okay. I just need this bowl because it gives me the height I need to show you. All right, so let's turn you back around. Put you up here. Okay. So you can see that it's a little bit dry and not much is happening. It's because we need to add another 1/4 cup of water. So we're going to throw that in. We need to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And measure that out real quick. And that still might not be enough. You do want a little bit of stick to this. It just needs to be just a touch sticky. So you can add up to another 1/4 cup of water, but you want to do it 1 tablespoon at a time. Okay, so oil dripping everywhere. I'm going to get my spatula. And it doesn't look like much is happening, but we want to get this flour in there. It's going to start pulling it together. And then we'll be able to tell if we're going to need to add more water. And everybody's house is going to be a little different, your humidity levels, just your, yeah, really the humidity levels is going to be the big piece of it. And so the amount of water you're going to need to add or whatever is going to be a little bit different. So I can tell already, this is not, I'm just going to add a little bit, just a little, not too much. It's pulling together better than the first. More water. And let this do its thing. Okay. Let's see. It's starting to pull together. Now it's going to look like nothing's happening. It's just going to be a ball rolling around, but it's going to be kneading it. And you need. The kneading process is super important because it develops the gluten, and when you're using, especially when you're using a flour like spelt or whole wheat, there's just not as much gluten in those. So you really do want to make sure that you knead it a long time, because that is going to develop the gluten, which makes it all nice and fluffy and chewy and get that nice little crust on it and everything. So you can see it's starting to come together like a ball. And I wanted to show you this process because a lot of people have never done this and they find it very intimidating. But what you're looking for is you're looking for the dough to clean the sides of the bowl, and it's doing a really good job of that. So I think what I'm going to do is that's going to be enough water. Let me just feel it real quick because I do want a little bit of sticky. Yeah, maybe I'll just put just a touch more water. Just a touch. Just to get that little bit of sticky. And it, you know, you can always add a little bit of flour if you've gone too far, but all right, so that's going to go. What's happening here? Okay. Sorry, guys. Let's do this. There we go. I'm going to just let that go for 10 minutes. It's going to pull it back on the hook, and it's going to do what it needs to do, and it's going to knead it for me. And we're going to turn around. Hi, Melinda. And we're going to make some hummus. So I'm making the hummus in my blender. But I can't imagine doing it by hand somehow, but there might be a way. I just don't know what it is. I should have left that alone, I think, that dough. I'm just going to add a little bit of flour, because now I kind of changed it up a little too much. And this is the process. You just pay attention and just add a little bit more flour, not too much, just like a tablespoon or so, and it'll start pulling it together. Okay, so in here I have a can of Great Northern beans, a can of chickpeas, a quarter cup of the chickpea water, or whatever you want to call it, a couple cloves of garlic. We've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Sorry, did I just, okay. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Okay, and then we need about a tablespoon or so of, my tablespoon's dirty, so we're gonna do this. Toasted sesame seeds, whatever, okay, do that. So we're not adding tahini to this. And then we need a teaspoon of salt in there as well. Okay. So then this just goes right in the blender, right on the stand, and I just turn it on to grind, and it just does its thing. Oh, there goes the bread. Now it's looking good. Let me turn you around to show you that quick here. Yeah, see? It's made itself back into a ball. And I'm going to just turn it down a little bit, and it's just kneading it. That's all that's happening there. Okay. Francis. Okay, so I'm going to just turn this onto the grind setting, and I'm going to hit go. We'll come over here where it's not as loud. Let me get my stand. Okay. So banana cream pie is not gut healthy. Not good for you, other than the bananas, but it's very yummy. So I use, hold on one second. You can hear the blender working a little bit. It just needs to be tamped down just a touch. There we go. Sorry, guys. back over here because I need to tamp this. It's not cooperating. There it goes. So this makes the smoke. So this makes the most smooth, delicious hummus, but it needs a little help this morning. Didn't need help last time I did it, and it's so loud. But I need it for our recipe. Here's the bread. You can't even see it, can you? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's a little pain in the butt. It's gonna go wrong. It's gonna go wrong live, right? Okay. We're gonna just call that done because it's done enough. All right. So it's just a store-bought graham cracker crust, 2 to 3 to 4, depending on the size of your bananas. Just peel those up. I don't know about you, but I am anti-banana string. I'm anti-orange string. I'm anti all of that stuff. To me, if I get a string in my mouth, it totally grosses me out. Alright, so then you just slice it in. Can't be any more easy. Like I said, this is not waistline friendly. It's not gut friendly. It does have sugar, but you might be able to find ways to do it a little bit differently. But this is just my tried and true, everybody loves it recipe. So I make this maybe once or twice a year for some sort of an event, Thanksgiving and things like that. So get all those strings off. Okay. And this is what I was telling you a number of weeks ago about mixing a box of vanilla instant pudding and a pint of heavy cream and making a mousse. And that's what I did before because I knew I was going to need the blender for the the mixer for the bread. So, wash this banana off my hand. Okay. And then I have now you can put as much or as little as you want, but I found that everybody likes the much more than they like the little. So see how thick this got? Can you see that? This is just heavy whipping cream and a box of vanilla pudding, and it gets so moussey thick. And you just plop it on. You could do this with chocolate and make a chocolate cream pie, maybe with some like Andes mint candies, or you could even do banana under chocolate if you wanted to. Pistachio, I've made a pistachio cream pie where I just do the pistachio pudding, put pieces of pistachio in it once it's mixed, and put it in a crust. People love that too. It's so simple, but it goes a long way because it's very rich, and then everybody seems to love it. So super easy, and it will hold. So you can make it the day before if you want. The bananas do hold up pretty well. You put the lid on it and throw it in the fridge. So this one is a very easy go-to. If you're someone that doesn't have a lot of time but you have a potluck to go to, this is a quick, easy thing you can do. So I'm just going to throw this in the fridge. Not that many people are going to potlucks these days, but you know what I mean. Thanksgiving coming up, maybe you have a handful of family members together. Hopefully by then we'll be able to have a few more. Okay. Now let me bring you to the other counter where we're making a Mediterranean dip. Alright, sorry guys for staring at my counter. Alright, so I have this pretty little pedestal platter, and we're going to take that hummus we just made, bring it over here. See how nice and creamy it is? Up there. So the idea is to spread this out on a round platter and then layer it. So we're going to go for it. I'm kind of, fudging the amounts, just putting the whole batch. But this hummus is so yummy. I'm not a big fan of tahini. So to just have that little bit of toasted sesame seed in it, as opposed to the big glob of tahini, I think that might be why. Plus you've got a mix of beans. That might be why I really like it. And I know my mother-in-law doesn't like beans, but she really liked this. So you spread this out. This will look really impressive for a gathering too, and you'll see just, you don't have to make hummus, you can just buy your hummus, but it's super yummy, so, okay. Do that. Rinse my finger off again. All right, so then you put a layer of cucumber. A few more, get that a little more evened out. Okay, then you put some tomato. Right. And there's more toppings, but the next one it says to put on is the yogurt. So I did my homemade Greek yogurt, and I added some garlic and salt, and that's all. So we're gonna put the yogurt on. Said to put dollops. When I mix it up, the yogurt gets a little thinner, but it is Greek yogurt. I'm just going to put all of it on there because dollops doesn't make sense to me. Not everybody's going to get it. Okay. Plus, what am I going to do with garlic flavored yogurt? Okay. So, there's that. Then we put some artichoke hearts on top of that. Marinated and drained and chopped. Okay. Whew, this looks delicious. Some roasted red peppers on top of that. Had all this chopped up already, so that's helpful. And then some Kalamata olives. Now I did save this because I just wanted to show you real quick. Let me just turn my pan on real quick first. So that can start heating up. So let me move this over. So can you see that? Yes. So the Kalamata olives are these dark brown ones, and they have a pit in them often. You can probably find them without, and I used to have a pitter, but I never used it, so here we are. And I just go around it like I would an avocado, and it just pops off the seed and comes right out. So it's pretty simple to do. And you could leave these in this size and kind of use them as decoration, but it said to chop them, and I think that's going to be better because it'll distribute them a little bit more. But super easy. Just wanted to show you how fast and easy it was to pit these. A little bit of work, but sometimes when I have a job like this I have to do a lot of, I'll just sit down with it and watch something on my phone or something at the table and go from there. The bread is done kneading. That's what that buzzer is. This one is stuck. Okay, there we go. Just get these last two, and then we'll put some feta cheese on top, and that will be done. That dip will be ready to go. So two really simple, especially if you just buy your hummus. I mean, even making it was super easy though. Super, super simple. Even a lot of these vegetables you can find chopped up if you really don't want to, or you're not up to it, but you want to bring something with you somewhere. Get a little too much cucumber. Okay, we're just going to go with that. That's enough. Just a little chop. And we'll sprinkle this. Okay, this is going to be so yummy. I love Mediterranean flavors. Okay. Yelling at me. Now we'll go. Okay. All right, and then the feta, and she be done. Okay. Oh, there's a plastic under there. I didn't open it yet. I love feta cheese, but I just bought gorgonzola because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try some gorgonzola because there's a salad we love at a restaurant that has gorgonzola. Well, I don't know what they do to make it all nice, but mine all sank to the bottom, and it was like, holy cow. Eating a mouthful of gorgonzola for like 5 or 6 bites, it was a little bit much. So there you go. There's our Mediterranean 7-layer dip. Delicious. Now the pita bread is to eat this with. So we'll go over here. We'll be almost done, guys. Okay, let's put this away. Shut that that off. All right, so the bread is done. Thought I just shut that off, but there it is. Still beeping at me. So you want to put a little oil in the bowl because when you're making bread, it needs to rise. And if you want it to rise, you need to give it some slick. I don't know what to say. It needs to be a little slick. So I can tell this is a little sticky. And so I shape it into a little ball, kind of by rolling the sides underneath. You get a nice shape there. Put the bottom in, get a little oil on it, flip it over. So if you don't do this, the bread, the dough, will stick to the sides of the bowl and it won't be able to rise properly. So you want to get it so that it can easily climb the sides of the bowl. So next week we're actually going to make, because next week is Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Jewish holidays, and I always make a nice big Jewish feast because we love the foods. And so I'm going to, by the way, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put this in the oven with the light on, and that'll give it its rise. The light creates just enough heat in there to help it rise. Now here's the batch I already did. You can see it rose really nice. You want it to double in size. Okay, so we're going to just put a little bit of flour on the surface. Come on, there we go. I already washed these counters, so in case anybody's wondering. And then we get our, just get a little on our hands. Oh, I didn't even need to. Look at that. Okay, so this particular recipe is a smaller recipe. There was one that had like 6.5 cups, so I'm just going to absorb some of that oil with some of this flour. So you're just going to pinch off 6 balls, make them into 6 little dough balls here. It's okay if they're not all exactly the same. But again, if you're making rolls or something, you can do this and you like slide it through your hand and it makes it a nice bowl, a ball. Okay. Doesn't really matter because we're going to roll it out. Okay, it's important to roll it out. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You can do it in the oven, which is what this recipe says to do. And you set the heat to like 450 and you turn it on ahead of time with the metal pan inside the oven. And you throw the pitas right on the hot pan. I'm doing it in a cast iron skillet because I watched a tutorial of the guy who did it that way and he got a lot of nice browning on it. And that's kind of what I would like to see. So I'm going to do it in a cast iron and we'll see what happens. But they said it's very, very important to make sure you get it rolled out to 1/8 of an inch if you want to get that nice pocket. So I'm going to get my rolling pin out here. I should have gotten that out. I should have really gotten that out. Where is it? I have this Pampered Chef one-handed one I'm just going to use, which is nice. Okay, so that seems about right. So I'll just set that one aside. And it does say to let it just sit for a few minutes, so we're going to do that. Come on, I want you to be round. Actually, it doesn't really matter if it's round, but... But this doesn't take much time, and you get fresh pita bread. And like I said, if you're using a sprouted flour, you're going to get something a little more easily digested. It actually, from what I've read, digests like a vegetable. Now, I'm not really caring really about the shape, obviously, but if you do, you can be a little more precise about making it round. And probably doing it in the ball beforehand helps with that. But I'm just trying to get something on the pan for you guys, so I just want to get these rolled out. I didn't try the oven method. I don't know. I was watching and it didn't seem like they were getting good color on it that way. Whoop. Get a little sticky, get a little flour on there. So I like mine to have a little color. see if this one rolls out better. More round. I can already tell it will. Yep. I can smell my pan heating up, so that'll be good because we want that to be nice and hot. The point of having the pan in the oven or the hot pan already ready to go is that once the dough hits it, it creates the steam that's necessary to get it to rise. So that one was a little big. Okay, one more. All right. So I will let that dough that we just made rise for about an hour and a half or so. And that'll be just right to make 6 more of these, and then we'll serve it with the, whatchamacallit, hummus dip. All right, so we'll spin you around here to get rid of this. This feels nice and hot. So we're gonna just see what happens. Oh, I heard it sizzle. Did you hear it sizzle? And so you need about 2 to 4 minutes per side, depending. But it said to flip it every 30 seconds so you don't burn it. You can see the bubbles starting to form, so it's doing what you want it to do for sure. I don't know. I don't have a timer on, so. Oh yeah, it's already toasting. But you want to make sure, even if it looks toasted, you want to make sure you give it the good, 4 to 6 minutes that it needs to actually cook. And you'll see, if I did this right, you'll see it become a giant puff ball at some point here. And then we'll know that it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, I can see that it's separating and making that pocket, which is what we want. Let's flip her again. Super easy. And oh, I was saying next week, because of the Jewish meal, right? I never finished that thought. Next week, I'm actually going to show you how to braid challah bread 2 different ways. So I'm going to make the dough ahead of time because it's just too much to, it's got to sit for hours and it's got to, all this stuff. But a lot of people are wondering, how do I make it and shape it? So I don't see this puffing the way that I thought it would. Oh, hold on. Oh, it tried to puff there for a second. So we'll see how this comes out. But we'll give this just another minute and we'll test it out. See what we think. You're not watching me on your big TV, Aunt Sis. You're watching my kitchen. I planned this just right this time, so I wasn't projected all over your TV screen. We're almost done. Okay. I want to say that this is done, but I don't. I mean, it feels cooked. So let's get a plate real quick. Come on, give me my plate. All right. Very hot, and it did not puff up the way that it's supposed to, so I'm not exactly sure what I did wrong there, but it could just be that the videos I watched were with white flour. So let's see here. Let's come over here and take a peek. All right, so I'm gonna actually get a knife to do this because it's really hot and I don't want to burn my fingers off. But I think we have a pita. Oh, hold on, stuck, my fork is stuck. Holy moly, that's hot. Well, now this side was pulling apart. Oh, here we go, yeah. It looks like maybe I could cook it just a little bit longer, but we've got a pita. It's separating out. It is, well, it's cooked inside. Holy moly, that's hot. So I'm just going to cut a little piece off, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of everything there. I missed a little bit of olive on that. Grab this little piece that fell off. And let's see what we have. So, okay, here we go. I made a dip the other day that had cucumbers and all that stuff. It was so bland. This one was so good. Yeah, this pita's good. It's done. Beautiful. There you go. Nice fresh hot bread. So anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you guys next week.